Well, howdy, everybody. This is your friendly neighborhood Dr. Matt Dorsey, DACM, CHOQ, Chief Scientific Officer, etc., etc. You know who I am already, most likely. How's everybody doing today? I'm wearing my human shirt. Yeah, always just trying to keep it real and keep it human. Been thinking a lot about extraterrestrials recently, actually, and whether they exist or not, and watching some Stephen Greer type stuff. I don't know if you guys know who Stephen Greer is, but he mentioned something in a movie I was watching of his recently, and he said, humanism is not enough if we're going to get to the point where, if with these other alien races, if they do exist, in fact, then we're going to have to at least get to the point where we can accept all humans, despite what they look like and are like. But it's way beyond that to start to actually accept completely other humanoid life forms. I mean, could you imagine hanging out with somebody with a crazy giant triangular shaped head that's like blue and green and red or God knows what, right? Anyway, I digress. But I think I have a feeling that many races, if they were to exist, just theoretically anyway, I won't take a stance on if they do or not right now, but if these races do exist, then we must seem like an interesting, almost like a reality show to them. That's my best friend. His theory is that humans are like a reality show for extraterrestrials, and we must be really entertaining. And also, on any good, all good shows, they make you laugh and cry, and that's how I feel when I look at the world. All right. Anyway, I thought I'd start the show on a little different note today. What do we got? Laura says, looking forward to your wisdom on EMFs. We are very reliable on technology these days and more of a challenge to stay human. Yes, absolutely. All about staying human. Hey, Marius, how's it going? Or however your name is pronounced. Sorry if that's not how it's correctly pronounced. And let's see. Laura wants to hear about gut health and probiotics. Okay. Yeah, thanks for showing up early, guys. That's awesome. And everybody else, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. We have Treon Burgess. Again, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. What supplements do you recommend for men 26 to 26 black men? Or 27 to 26, 27. Well, all right. Let me just go in order here. We'll get to our daily segment here in a second on EMFs. And just FYI, if you're new, make sure you stick around so that you can be around for when we give away some free prizes here at a randomly selected time. So even if you just keep this on in the background, make sure you don't miss that. Miss your opportunity to win some free CHOQ products. All right. So, Treon, I'll get to your question in a second. Laura, that's a pretty open, pretty broad question. Thoughts on gut health. Could you narrow it down a bit for me as far as what aspect of gut health? Let me know if you have anything more specific. The thing that you said, the natural and then V thing, that is a little bit too on the medical side of things. So unfortunately, I can't talk about that. From a legal standpoint, I'm not allowed to say anything about that. So I can't comment on that part, unfortunately. Treon, to mention or to address the question you mentioned a second ago about men 26 to 27, and you mentioned black men specifically. Again, no recommendations that are specific to any particular race. That's not really, how supplements work particularly. But for, men in their late 20s, well, it still does depend on the individual and what they need. But a great place to start for really any man looking for testosterone, mood support, muscle mass, focus, things like that. Great place to start is daily plus Tomcat is awesome. Awesome combination. these guys right here. The daily is going to give you 500 milligrams of the Prima-V Shilajit. It's also going to give you some other excellent Ayurvedic herbs such as Mucuna pruriens and also Safed Muesli, which are all going to be great for things like I mentioned, right, mood, testosterone, etc. Tomcat is very, very powerful for T boosting, for supporting healthy T levels, that is, rather, and then also, of course, for things like cortisol and mood and focus. So that's a great place to start. In addition to that, also great for men, ashwagandha and Action 2.0. Action 2.0 is a great pre-workout as well. All right. But yeah, welcome, Treon. I haven't seen you here before, so if you're brand new, thanks for being here. Noah asks, is there like any other supplements aside from CHOQ if these go out, No. Not sure exactly what you mean by that, but I don't recommend, I can't recommend any brands other than CHOQ because my job is really to, represent CHOQ here. So, all right. But yeah, welcome, Treon. And anybody else who's new, welcome to you as well. Apple says something about protecting from EMFs. Okay, cool. Yes, we'll get to that in a second. Absolutely. As our regulars know, CHOQ is a very EMF-aware company, and that's why I've been doing this fun little segment each time on EMFs. What we're going to read in a moment from the non-tinfoil guide to EMFs is what it's called. All right. Squilliam T. Interesting name. You are very welcome. We're glad to have you here. So glad you're enjoying it. Let's see. Can we get seeds to grow more that be real helpful too? No, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but if you'd like to try to clarify a bit, then I'm happy to try to answer your question there. All right. And then Noah, yes, shungite is very, very helpful. If you've our regulars know that I'm a big fan of shungite. Actually, my desk is filled with shungite. We've got this guy right here, shungite star tetrahedron. Got my shungite pyramid right here. And then I also have, this was a cool present from my girlfriend at the time a while back, a shungite elephant. So yes, my desk is filled with shungite. I also, of course, have some various different pieces of orgonite on my desk as well. Big fan of orgonite too. Yeah. So, all right, I want to get to some more questions, but let's do our daily EMF segment here. So this is called, as I'm sure the regulars are, already very much in the know, but if you're new, I'm going to read from a book called The Non-Tinfoil Guide to EMFs. And here we go. All right. So last time we were talking about how EMFs can affect the blood-brain barrier, which, just so y'all know, if you didn't hear last time, or if you're not familiar, the blood-brain barrier is basically the part of the circulatory system that connects the rest of the blood vessels to the brain and selectively either allows access or rejects specific kinds of particles into the brain, right? So the blood-brain barrier is very important. EMFs have an ability to sometimes alter the blood-brain barrier such that it might let things in that aren't supposed to be there. That's what we were talking about last time. This time, the author is talking about other barriers, such as the ocular blood barrier or the blood-ocular barrier. There are some studies that say that EMFs can do that. They can actually, to some extent, alter the integrity of the blood-ocular barrier. The blood placenta barrier, that's an interesting one. That's one I hadn't even heard of yet. Although, I knew about it in theory. I'd never heard the term. So the blood placenta barrier protects the developing fetus, right? So why is this really extremely important, right? Other than the obvious that it's important to protect babies. EMFs can alter the integrity of the blood placenta barrier. Now, has anyone here, let me know in the chat, has anyone here ever seen research on, God, it's enough to make you almost want to cry. Seen research on chemicals that accumulate in the placenta, that can actually accumulate in the child from the mother, right? There are quite a few studies out there. I can't remember exactly which compounds off the top of my head, but I'm sure some of them are pesticides. Heavy metals, absolutely, especially mercury. Mercury can be intergenerational, right? You can actually pass mercury on from mother to child, multiple generations, right? So the mercury in you could be in you from however many years ago. So EMFs are increasing the permeability of the blood placenta barrier and enhancing the passage of toxins from mother to child. Also, here's an important one, since you guys are very aware of the problems with the human endocrine system, which is to say the hormone system, and how important it is to have healthy hormone support, such as with supplements like ashwagandha, supplements like Tomcat 100, and of course Men's Daily, as well as Shilajit, right? The endocrine system, very important to take care of. EMFs can also have effects on the blood testes barrier, which protects sperm. Basically, just because something is in your blood doesn't mean it needs to be in every part of your body. So you have all these different barriers, right? And the barriers ensure that anything that's not supposed to be in that particular tissue type does not get there. It's like a selectively permeable membrane in a sense, right? So, so here's a great example of this principle, right? Within your digestive system, you want to make sure, and this goes back to Laura's question about gut health, right? Because everyone's all about the whole, leaky gut thing, right? Gut permeability, gut membrane permeability, right? Just because something is in your blood doesn't mean it should be, or in one part of your body doesn't mean it should be in another part of your body, right? So within your digestive system, you want certain parts of food to get processed and extracted and, to enter your general circulation in your blood, and certain parts not, right? Separating the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. So this principle applies throughout the body. And so what this guy is saying in this book is that electromagnetic frequencies are negatively affecting all of these different barriers. And just to review really fast, the blood-ocular barrier is one of them. The blood-brain barrier is another one. The blood-placenta barrier is another one. The blood-gut barrier, as well as the blood-testes barrier. So all of these barriers ensure that things that aren't supposed to be in that tissue type, whether it's, again, your digestive system, placenta, testes, eyes, brain, does not get there if it's not supposed to be there. And these barriers are very important because if some kind of compound that's not supposed to be there gets there, then you have tissues not functioning the way they should. So, all right. Next up, EMFs reduce your body's ability to heal. So here is a quote from someone who claims to be a sufferer of electromagnetic hypersensitivity. If you are in any way concerned about your well-being, then dealing with nighttime exposures to EMFs is the absolute foundation on which you can build a healthy life. In what seems to be a serious episode of bad karma, EMFs not only seem to damage the DNA of your cells, make them overflow with calcium, and leave your body's natural barriers wide open to toxins and invaders, they also prevent your body from healing and repairing this damage. It's a known fact that nighttime is when most of your body heals itself from everything you throw at it during the day. The second you fall asleep, your body follows a very specific detoxification schedule. This is really interesting. So during this detox schedule, while you're asleep, a lot of people don't know, when you're asleep, you do a lot of detox. And one of the reasons it's so important to get quality sleep is because that is, if you're not getting sleep, that's tantamount to absorbing more toxins than you should be. People don't realize that some of these sleep hormones, such as melatonin, for example, melatonin is not just about sleep. So in my, when I'm talking to clients, when I'm coaching with people, I will sometimes suggest they take melatonin, even if they don't have issues with sleep. Why is that? Melatonin helps your body synthesize glutathione. Sleep and detox are deeply intertwined. So when you're sleeping, your brain cells actually shrink in size by 60% to allow what's called the lymphatic system, which is the lymphatic system inside the brain, which was only discovered 5 or 10 years ago, to actually take garbage, toxins out of the cells and clear them from the brain. So not getting good sleep is the same thing as like garbage accumulating in your brain cells, basically, right? Also, at the same time, events of the day get stored in long-term memory. So you have short-term memory being committed to long-term. You also have autophagy happening during sleep. So if EMFs are disrupting your sleep pattern, they're also disrupting something called autophagy. I'm going to spell that for you guys really fast. Who here has heard of autophagy? Is that something you guys are familiar with? This is a big one. It's a huge topic in the functional medicine, alternative medicine, biohacker type communities. Basically this means cellular recycling, your body's ability to take parts of cells and break them down and then actually reassemble them, right? So it has to do with efficiency. Of course, muscle and tissue repair happens while you're sleeping, all sorts of stuff. So yes, the most important way high levels of EMFs in your bedroom environment can impair your healing abilities by disrupting your melatonin hormone production. Melatonin, like I said, very essential, not just to Danny B. Yes, you're exactly right. Cellular recycling. Melatonin, not just important to sleep, important to all sorts of things like immune system, and also important for detoxification. So by the year 2000, there were already 15 studies demonstrating that magnetic fields and various forms of EMF radiation suppress the body's ability to produce melatonin. Now, remember, you guys, pineal gland, magnetoreceptor, it is sensitive to electro, and that is where a lot of your melatonin comes from, the pineal gland. Let's see here. Less melatonin rhymes with less REM sleep and less healing. This effect has been shown in a dose-dependent manner. The more EMFs you're exposed to, the more melatonin is suppressed. And don't start thinking you're all good if you just avoid using your cell phone right before you go to sleep. One study showed that using your cell phone for just 25 minutes during the day will significantly reduce the amount of melatonin your body produces at night. Just in case you need more evidence that EMFs impair sleep, here's one more. A few years ago, Professor Trevor Marshall, who I highly recommend, I'm just going to type his name in, look up Trevor Marshall. In fact, I should probably just find a video and post it here in a second. He's awesome. From the Autoimmunity Research Foundation, wanted to prove that sleeping in a very low EMF environment could improve sleep. He asked a bunch of people in a weird but effective anti-EMF sleeping bag, which is basically a Faraday cage they would sleep in, which covered them completely. And 90% of the people sleeping in these EMF barrier sleeping bags, these Faraday cage sleeping bags, reported sleeping better. So 9 out of 10 people, if you shield them from EMFs, sleep better. Has anybody ever... and you guys ever have problems sleeping and then you go camping and then all of a sudden when you're camping out in nature, it's no problem at all. Like you don't need any valerian, you don't need any melatonin, you just sleep fine. Well, case in point, right? So yeah. As I always say though, and I'm sorry if any of y'all are getting sick of this though, from a supplement standpoint, it's very important to make sure that you have ample antioxidants in your supplement regimen because these EMFs, they drive up free radicals in the body. Some of the supplements that we carry that have the best antioxidant potential, of course, the number one is Apex glutathione. This will be back out in 2 months. Make sure you are on the mailing list so that you get the best deal when it does come back out. As far as what we have now, though, virtually everything we have works to some extent as an antioxidant. CHOQ Armor is a fantastic antioxidant with a 20x absorption of quercetin. Shilajit, of course, fulvic acid, excellent glutathione booster. Ashwagandha has antioxidant potential. Many of the ingredients in Action 2.0, including the wild-crafted rhodiola, which can switch on antioxidant production through a pathway called NRF2, all that stuff. And even something as basic as vitamin C. Vitamin C is a fantastic antioxidant. So make sure that you have antioxidants in your supplement regimen. And of course, make sure you're getting ample amounts of organic, pesticide-free fruits and vegetables. Very, very essential. Obviously, cacao beans, polyphenols, source of antioxidants. And what else? Wild blueberries. If you make smoothies, the single best thing you could ever put in your body in terms of smoothies or smoothie ingredients is frozen wild blueberries. Absolutely fantastic. They contain dimethyl resveratrol. And they help to cleanse heavy metals from the body. The wild blueberries are fantastic. So can't say enough good things about them. All right. So there's the end of our fairly lengthy, enthusiastic EMF segment for today. All right. What else we got here? Okay. Laura's asking about probiotics and prebiotics. Yeah, pretty broad topic there. I would say with respect to probiotics, there's so many good ones out there. Again, I can't promote any other brands. I would just say try to find an established brand. Try to find a brand that lists a wide variety of different strains. And then with respect to prebiotics, really, no one needs to take a supplement to get prebiotics. They really don't. And actually, you know what? Let me continue that in a second after we give away our first prize. I think it's time. Trying to get away from waiting too long to give the first prize out. So yeah. All right, here we go. Prize number 1. Everybody in the chat, give me a number between 1 and 100, and just one entry. Whoever's closest will win one of any CHOQ product. And try to do it rather quickly if you can. And while you guys are giving me your entries here, let me just follow up by saying regarding prebiotics, they should really come from food. You know, I'm a supplements guy. I'm a supplements expert. I'm one of the nerdiest people you'll ever meet regarding supplements. But I do not think that you need to take supplements for prebiotics. I just don't. I think that should come from organic fruits and vegetables. Because prebiotic is a fancy word just meaning fermentable fiber, right? So if you're getting, if you're doing smoothies with lots of mango and banana and wild blueberries and spinach and all sorts of amazing fermentable fiber rich fruits and vegetables, you don't, and salads and whatever, you don't need to take a prebiotic. And in fact, the amount of prebiotics you're going to get from a pill, just nothing, like this much compared to this much from a fruit and vegetable rich diet. So prebiotics should come from food. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and type in done now. So that means our entries are complete. So if I type done, then we are done. So the number is 50. And who is closest to 50 here? Let's see. KB is 45. 2. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like KB is 5 away from 50, which means I believe KB, are you the winner? Let's see. Raffatul has 43, not quite. We don't have anything in the 50s here. KB, yes, you are our official winner. So KB, congratulations. Email CHOQ@CHOQ.com. Tell them that you would like a one of whatever supplement you choose. So you can pick any supplement that we sell. You can also pick obviously a CHOQ t-shirt or a bag of our delicious and very potent organic heirloom cacao beans. Some of the best cacao that you will probably find just about anywhere. So yeah. All right. Yeah, guys. Make sure that you get those numbers in as quickly as possible. Yeah. So you always want to and KB, yeah, just email CHOQ@CHOQ.com. And that's how you will get your prize. CHOQ@CHOQ.com. Laura, did you get your shirt and your cacao beans squared away there? Yeah, for some reason, Laura, I don't know why yours didn't come in until a little bit later. So maybe your connection's a bit slow. Not sure, but yeah. All right. What other questions do we have here? Fire away, guys. Let's see if I can go back and see anything else interesting. Abigail says, I have my Wi-Fi hooked up with a light switch. I turn it on when I need it. Awesome. That's great. Very cool. It's a good idea. Abigail also says, how long does mercury stay in the body? Is it hard to filter out? Yeah, that's a tough one. So what I have learned, I've studied heavy metals quite a bit. What I have learned is that not everyone gets rid of toxins like metals at the same rate with the same degree of efficiency. So yeah, it's tricky. It's really tricky. So for example, here's something I tell a lot of my clients. If you are in a room, say that you have a room filled with 10 people and you blast those 10 people all with the same amount of mercury, right? 8 of those people could be fine. 2 of those people could have some major problems. Now, why is that? Not everyone gets rid of heavy metals and other toxins at the same rate. Part of this is actually genetic. And of course, a lot of it's not at all. So I don't mean to overemphasize genes. I think there's too much of an emphasis on genes, actually, which is really disempowering. There is some reality to it, though. But so, if you have a lifestyle that's extremely toxic, where your detox pathways are overloaded, of course, you're going to get rid of metals more slowly. But there are genes that do determine, to some extent anyway, how efficiently you get rid of metals. One of these genes actually is called ApoE. It is ApoE, and there are 3 different versions called ApoE 2, 3, and 4. And there's a version called ApoE 4 that is the bad one, let's just say. Without going into too much detail, talking about too much disease terminology, let's just say that ApoE4 is associated with certain things that are really bad. And a man named Boyd Haley, PhD, figured out that ApoE4, if you have that particular version of that gene, it just means that you can't get metals out of your brain very well. So I'll just leave it at that. Yes. But as far as, what's really important here is to note that, you want to make sure that you've got natural heavy metal support, things like cilantro and wild blueberries and stuff like that. You want to make sure that you've got glutathione, shilajit, vitamin C, NAC, selenium, molybdenum, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, folate, all these things you need for your detox to work correctly. Herbs like milk thistle, of course, schizandra, bacopa, so many different herbs that will all support natural detoxification. And of course, you want to make sure that you're very well hydrated. All that stuff affects your ability to get rid of these very nasty compounds. And it's not something that happens overnight. This is a very slow process. So this takes years, not days, just so you know. So yeah. All right. What else we got here? Someone was asking about cannabis, and that's tricky. Part of me, because I'm a little bit careful legally, but that's also because I'm in Texas, and so I forget that it's legal in a bunch of states. So I'll just say it as a caveat, like don't break the law, and only smoke cannabis if it's legal in your state, right? Of course. But my thoughts on cannabis are that, just to be frank, based on my knowledge of its effects on the body, I think that it should be in the category of an herb that is extraordinarily powerful and to be used in specific situations. And so certainly it has its place for things like, pain, of course, and in certain other cases. One of the problems, I will say, though, in terms of the way that cannabis is used medicinally, is that people rely on it to do everything. So you'll have somebody who just smokes cannabis all day, every day, and that's all they use to treat their issues. And that's not always a great approach, to be honest. Is it better than popping a bunch of pharmaceuticals? Probably, but yeah, it's not the best route, because over time, even though it's relatively non-toxic, it can cause other problems. Cause changes in personality, motivation levels. So is it as bad as, popping a whole bunch of, pharmaceutical opiates? Certainly not. But is it something that can still cause problems if used excessively over time? Absolutely. It can certainly cause imbalance. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts on that. But used correctly, any herb, whether it's cannabis or anything else, when used correctly within the confines of understanding its side effects, absolutely, so just depends. But something that should be used with at least some caution. Some people tend to think that it can do no harm because it's so gentle and non-toxic compared to a lot of more heavy-handed things, and I think it's not quite true. Not quite true. I think everyone's known someone who perhaps does it all the time for 20 years, and at the end of that period is perhaps a bit of a different person than they used to be. So yeah. All right, let's see what else we got here. Of course, there's also CBD, which is a whole different thing. And then there's CBG, and there's terpenes, right? There's all sorts of stuff there. So very complex topic. CBG seems promising. CBDA is also interesting as well. CBDA has some great effects for healthy inflammation response, so yeah, very cool. And again, of course, I would always, I would love to give you guys recommendations on brands you should take for CBD or whatever. But again, I'm working for a supplements company, so I don't really talk about other brands directly. It's just kind of a bad policy to do that, KB, to answer your question, CBD is absolutely available in Texas. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. We're not that backwards. We're a little backwards with respect to that plant, but we're not that backwards. So, all right. Somebody says that Tomcat and Daily is helping them remember dreams. That's very cool. That's excellent. Glad you're getting those kind of results. That's awesome. Noah says, do you know anything about soy and Japanese soy? I hear it's the right soy. Noah, I'm not sure about the nationality of a soy so much as the most important thing would be, is that soy GMO or not, right? Because remember, if soy is not organic and or GMO, non-GMO certified, then that soy is guaranteed to be laden with tons and tons of pesticides and genetically modified. So that's the most important thing as far as I know. And of course, even organic soy, is it a good idea to consume huge amounts of organic soy every day? I would say there's enough evidence to suggest that maybe even organic soy is not a great idea to do all the time. I would do it occasionally. I would never do conventional soy under any circumstances, though. Let's see. And Laura says, oh, Laura, you're in Humboldt. Cool. Very cool. Yeah. So it's grown with nasty chemicals if it's not organic. That's great to know. Very good to know. Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder, Laura, can you tell us, out there, if you go to a dispensary, are they testing for pesticides? Do they, if you went to a dispensary and they said, hey, here, here's this strain or whatever, and could you ask the dispensary, hey, do you have labs? Because CHOQ has labs. We have tons of labs. And in fact, I'm doing some investigative reporting right now on Shilajit. And I'm in the initial stages right now, but I'm going to have some really interesting information for you guys regarding Shilajit testing in the near future. Our Shilajit, I'm fairly certain, is some of the most tested with the least the smallest amount of things like metals, for example, and the greatest amount of active compounds just about anywhere out there. So I'm doing some research right now on our Shilajit to kind of compare it to whatever else is out there, and I'll have some great information. I'm going to be putting together a video on that, and I'll have that out in a couple of weeks probably. So testing is very important, right? Whether it's for Shilajit, whether it's for any other herb, whatever it is, but of course also for cannabis. So yeah, I'm really wondering if out there as a legal cannabis user, if you are able to easily get labs from your dispensaries. I'd be interested to see. So Laura, yeah, if you have any experience with that, with asking dispensaries about labs showing pesticide residues, things like that, that would be really interesting. And I would imagine, of course, the only ones that they would have labs on would be the organic ones, just to prove that they are free of pesticides, hopefully. But yeah. All right. What else we got here? Let's see. Jonathan says, CHOQ Daily helps me have more lucid dreams. Very cool. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah. Abigail asks, what about when ingredients list says vegetable oil? Yeah, that's a red flag, Abigail. If it says vegetable oil, not good. It's kind of like saying natural flavors. Just so you guys know, natural flavors are not natural. CHOQ will not use natural flavors. A lot of companies out there will. We will not use natural flavors. Natural flavors are whack. Whack AF, as the kids say. Not good. Not good at all. Let's see what else we got here. So Shilajit, according to Abigail, is also good for lucid dreams. Very cool. That's awesome. Nice. Nice. Noah says, the reason I talk about soy is because soy can be estrogenic. So yeah, Noah, to comment on that, it's not something I've researched for many years, but I did at some point look into it. There's mixed research on the quote-unquote phytoestrogens in soy. And here's the deal. Just because something is a phytoestrogen, that doesn't mean it's actually bad. All the term phytoestrogen means is that a compound from a plant, phyto, has the ability to bind to an estrogen receptor, right? Now, give you guys a little insight here into pharmacology. And also, just FYI, we will be giving away our second prize here in just a moment, so stick around. Just because something is an estrogen or phytoestrogen does not mean it's going to do something bad. When something hits an estrogen receptor, it can do a number of different things. And sometimes what it can do could be helpful. So for example, these xenoestrogens that are in plastics that are leaching into water, for example, from water bottles, they are estrogenic in a bad way. When they hit that receptor, they're going to activate it in a way that is not helpful typically. In some cases, a phytoestrogen may actually bind to an estrogen receptor and do something that's good. In some cases, it's actually going to hit it, and it's going to displace ones that are other kinds of molecules that are actually much worse. So it's going to hit that receptor instead of something that's going to do something really bad. So that's also part of the equation. So I have heard mixed reviews in terms of there's been science showing that some compounds in soy are beneficial phytoestrogens. I can't say the C word because of legal constraints, but I will just say, obviously, you can look into stuff like that on your own. And that there are other compounds in soy that may be less beneficial. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. At this point, I just think, based on what I know, that there's enough evidence to suggest that it's soy, if it's organic, on occasion is probably not a big deal. Every day, I would not advise. That's where I'm at on that. That's my position. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Unfortunately, I can't talk about that, Jonathan, because that is not a compound that's currently legal, so I won't comment on that at the moment. I wish I could, though, because I do have opinions on that. But if this were a personal channel, then I'd talk about it all day long. But unfortunately, I can't do that in this capacity. All right. And do I have any book recommendations on hormones? Nothing off the top of my head. No. Is soy consumption the reason I have moobs? LOL. Probably not. But who knows? Who knows? On that note, let's do prize drawing number 2. Yeah. Give me another number between 1 and 100. And remember, just 1 entry per person. Oh, goodness. All right. See if I can find anything else interesting on here while you guys are getting your entries in. All right, are we all in? Everybody in here? Okay, done. There we go. All right. Oh, sorry, Danny. All right, here we go. Generate number 41 is the number. And who is closest? So, dang, Danny, you were really close. Didn't quite get it in on time, so I'm very sorry, but I do have to go by the rules there. So, who is closest? Unfortunately, Danny was after the cutoff. Otherwise, you would have won. But so very, very sorry about that. Let's see. So Raftel's 56, that's 15 away. Mr. R 32 is 9 away. KB is 33. Let's see. But KB, you already won, didn't you? Yeah, we can't have the same person win 2 times in a row here. Hunter says he's before the cutoff on my chat. Oh, interesting. So the chat is not consistent, huh? Dang. Oh, really? Interesting. Okay. Well, in that case, because on my screen, his came in after. So we'll just chalk it up to Mercury retrograde. So I suppose in that case, then, Danny, if yours did actually come in earlier, then I suppose that means you're the winner. Yeah, this whole YouTube Live thing is very confusing as far as how it displays the chat. I'm realizing that it's giving me you guys chats really late sometimes. But yes, in that case, we will go ahead and accept Danny B's win here. So congratulations, Danny B. I believe you most likely know the drill, but email CHOQ@CHOQ.com. You have won a CHOQ t-shirt. Organic cotton made in the USA t-shirt, premium shirt, as well as a bag of our organic and heirloom cacao beans, just like the kind Montezuma enjoyed so many hundreds of years ago. So yeah, congrats, Danny B and KB. Yeah. All right. So I think that's about all the time we have for today, folks. Stay tuned. We will be back soon. Y'all come up with some great questions for me for next time. And I'll see y'all soon. Until then, much love and stay human.